Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Tam back with another episode of Science and Technology. This is meant for any student doing the secondary for science and technology curriculum in the Quebec education curriculum. So for today, we are going to discuss very briefly something called energy efficiency. Now, energy efficiency basically measures, so let me give you guys a quick definition on that. It's the amount of useful energy compared to the amount of energy consumed expressed as a percentage. So the formula, and I'm just going to abbreviate energy efficiency, is of course measured in percent and is the amount of useful energy divided by the amount of energy consumed. And it doesn't matter whether this amount of energy is in joules or kilojoules, as long as they match both top and bottom. And you're going to multiply this, of course, all by 100% because you want to express this as a percentage. So, for example, let's say I have, for question 1 here, let's say I have a light bulb that I plugged into a socket. And when I plug this light bulb into the socket, which is right here, this outlet is providing, let's say, 1,000 joules of energy. And when it provides this 1,000 joules of energy, this is the amount that's consumed because this is the amount that the light bulb ends up taking from the outlet. But what's actually released as light, which is what's useful, so I'm going to draw these little lines here to represent the light. This is the light that's being released, and it's only 50 joules of it. Terrible. Where did all that rest go? Well, in this case, because it's a light bulb, you can predict that there is some residual heat that is getting released by the light bulb. So that, of course, is the remaining amount to be 950 joules. So what are we actually using when we're going to calculate our energy efficiency? Well, we're using what's useful, in this case, the light energy, and we're going to divide it by the total amount of energy consumed. We kind of ignore the amount of energy wasted, okay? So we don't really need this. So you take the 50 joules here, and you divide it by 1,000 joules that you've consumed. You're going to multiply this by 100%, and this gives you 5% efficiency. Absolutely horrible. But this is pretty realistic to what light bulbs actually lose in terms of energy, which is why we opt for more efficient light bulbs. A little more expensive, but in the long run, it saves you a lot of energy. So let's do another problem here where essentially I'm giving you a car. Please excuse me, very badly drawn car here. I'll do my best. Boom, boom. And I have the lights going this way. And let's say that motor, if a car has an efficiency of 12%, which is pretty awful too, and uses 600,000 joules of energy to turn the wheels, determine the chemical energy consumed. Determine the chem energy consumed. So when I say chemical energy, it means that the car is basically converting gasoline to something that it can use. So that's what I mean by chemical. It starts off as gasoline, it ends up being heat, and of course electricity to run the electrical components inside the car. So I'm just going to solve this off to the side here because kind of running out of room. Here I have 12% is equal to the amount of useful energy is 600,000 because that's the amount used to turn the wheel. So 600,000 joules And this is assuming that we haven't used anything else for like the wiper blades, any of the electrical, the radio, and all of that. I want you to find out the amount of energy consumed. Well, it's just a simple isolation of this particular variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 100%. And I end up with 0.12, 0.12 is equal to 600,000 joules over EC. So I end up with 0.12 EC is equal to 600,000 joules. Divide both sides by 0.12. And I end up with the consumed amount to be 5 million. Goodness gracious. Only 600,000 out of that 5 million is actually being used to power the car. So, as you can see, it's not a very difficult concept, though there are questions that you guys could practice. So, feel free to like and subscribe. Make sure that when you subscribe, you turn on the notification so that you know whenever I publish a new video, you guys can come and check it out. Keep in mind that, of course, this is 100% optional. This is for you guys to peruse at your leisure. And I'm wishing that everybody stays safe and that you're all doing well with your families. And I will see all of you in the next video. Au revoir, arrivederci, bye-bye.